Well, hello there, traveler. I thought we'd drop in tonight for a collective elemental energy read. I just want to see how are the elementals expressing through the collective energy at this time, and what can we learn from it? How can we work with it? What can we do to shift the weather pattern if it's a little off or in need of some revision? Let's check it out and just see how we're working with the natural elementals at this time and how they're expressing through us, mind, body, spirit, and in our material reality, which is the result of our path. However we're kind of calibrated within us is the result of what we see show up on our path and how we respond to it. So let's see what the energy is coming in here. Looks like we're getting some coordinates. There's a lot more turning within. There is a focus on ajna, the third eye chakra. There's a gift coming in here from the sky. It gives some kind of insight, understanding. This could be gifts of precognition. You may feel like you sense things before they come, and you're having these sensations verified by what's showing up in your day-to-day life here. There's also something that's coming in here during meditation, or when you pull your energy back from an external focus to an internal focus, that really allows you to pluck that diamond out of the void, work with the energy of Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Aries. So this is harnessing the internal fire instead of expressing it outwardly, letting that fire build and crack something open within the third eye that reveals a jewel to you that is meant to be not only perceived but received and brought through you. So this is some kind of jewel, some kind of gift, something that comes through with a lot of clarity, and you're meant to bring this through into your reality. And there's something about getting coordinates here as far as what direction do I go. And I feel this is not just in the frame of your next steps to take in life, but also how you're doing your alchemy work. Where do you want to direct the attention? Do you feel like you need to still your airs? Are you kept up at night with a lot of thoughts, just an inability to turn the chatter of the mind off? Are you constantly worried, or do you find that you continually rehash the memory of something over and over and over again in your mind? Are you feeling anxious or having trouble sleeping? Do you feel like you've gone too far off into the ether? Or are you in a position where you're holding a lot of your fire in? Maybe you feel frustrated, maybe you feel angry, maybe your body is also responding with a lot of inflammation. You might need to really harmonize more with the fire element, or you could be noticing that there is something that feels a little cloudy as far as emotional clarity, or really being able to tap into but also trust your intuition. That you might be feeling more like it's difficult to just kind of let go and go with the flow. You might find that you're feeling more kind of a need to try to direct the flow, and it's something that is becoming a frustration. You might need to work more with your water. And if you're feeling really bogged down, weighed down, heavy, lethargic, feeling like you just can't seem to root anything, it's difficult to see prosperity evident in your life, there might be something that is required in a shift of perspective, maybe to start to be grateful and aware of what seem like little things, but every time we're aware of having gratitude for what even seems something very minor or small, it actually does create something that can grow from there. And it's more a way of orienting your psychology so that it harmonizes with this receptive kind of signature, this energy signature that does let you actually receive more, that wants to be recognized by you. A lot of times when we're in a place where we feel shut down on that level, or we feel like things aren't working, there's in some way we're not recognizing what is to be grateful for, what is something that we do need to acknowledge. And it seems small in the moment, especially if you're going through something really heavy. But these small things are like pinpoints that light gets through difficult or challenging situations, and it can help slowly start to help you have a new kind of perspective dawn in your consciousness. So I feel like there's something here about really looking internally and resting there instead of trying to fix something. Maybe you're engaging in more meditation. Maybe you're just trying to work with more calming, stilling practices. You're trying to calm the mind. You're trying to take the focus off of something outside of you. You may be called to that. You may be called to take a break from something because you feel like you just need to get back into your own energy essence, and you're going to see so much come through there that will become very clear for you. This is the basis of the matter. So you're having a sense of direction, but it's not coming from something outside of you. It's something coming from within you. Ooh, and we got the air merging with the fire, queen of fire, Yoni. So see, there's something here that is creating the birth of new energy. This is also letting the fire really rise up to clear all the other channels. There's a lot of heart chakra, anahata energy evident here. It's like lighting that heart fire, burning through the stuff of the lower channels in order to be able to access the heart space. That's what's needed to bridge that distance between the head and the heart, and actually be able to work with the energy of ether, bring it down and into form where we nurture it. We nurture it in a devotional way through our karma, through the work that we do, the way we show up on our path, which is our dharma, this kind of energy being expressed here. And there's something that does need to be redirected here a little bit. It's a little bit off the mark. This crossroads does offer a gift, though, if we're able to get recalibrated, not on what seems so extreme or oppositional, but if we find that center point. So, you know, that's also kind of a center point when we look at Ajna, the third eye. It's a center point. This is a key for the vision ahead. This will really ripen when the full moon lunar eclipse comes in Pisces later in the month. And it's a partial eclipse, it's not a full eclipse, but there is something there where you recognize what's tripping you up with the coyote medicine coming in here. There's some way that we're tripping ourselves up, and this allows us to finally recognize some gift that's been with us here all along, but we've been looking in other places for some source of confirmation, some source of sustenance, and there's something that's already here. It's like as soon as you see it, whatever gets lit up on the other side of that partial eclipse, you're really going to understand that what's needed here is some kind of action. Also, it's in taking the action that the gift is protected. There's something about not letting this gift just go untapped. It needs to be activated through your action. It's your medicine in some way. It's your medicine. It's an empowerment you hold that you're meant to share with others. It births more than you expect here, okay? So we got earth energy coming through. It's like the avenue is opening up. Earth family, the avenue is opening up through the earth suns. That's the masculine. Opening up the avenue, opening up the road, so the creative heart fire of the queen of fire can come through and have outward expression here. Really transformational energy. It is the rebirth of Venus as well. We're already in that energy right now. Venus entered Libra. Okay, so now this energy is going to be building up to Mercury entering Leo. That's when things really start getting real. Day before that new moon total eclipse in Leo. Yeah, fire daughter. See, there's some doorway of initiation we go through at that time. It's that energy that was coming through before. We're crowning, you know, almost there. Hang in there. You're almost there. You got an assist though. You know, you got an assist. You're getting an assist from spirit with this. It's like amplified acceleration and a growth track, because it's time, and there's almost been some procrastination around this, or knowing that in some way you do need to transform, or you need to allow a more raw kind of expression come through you at this time, something that may be a little hot for others to handle. Okay, it has something to do with seeing you in this way and what you're preparing to have come through you. It has everything to do with some kind of spiritual process you've been undergoing here. You've been going through some pretty heavy duty initiations. I think that you've had to face a lot of deception and recognize the way that deception that came through others also illuminated for you places where you deceived yourself, from really acknowledging. I feel like it's an acknowledgement of the role you play in not trusting your own power to navigate situations. Yeah, and with this, once you recognize it, it's like you reclaim your power. You no longer put it outside of you. You get an ace of fire here. You become the source. You don't look for any kind of validation of the power you hold through what others have to say to you. This is something that's very intimate. It's you really tapping into source and understanding that power is always there for you, but it doesn't come from any kind of arrogance. It's not about thinking that you're the only one who has this. Everybody has this. We're all in this space where we have this direct access to source. But there's stages of having a real awareness of that you do hold this power. And then there's also stages that come after that about the recognition that with that power and the awareness that you hold it, the awareness is what shifts it. And the awareness is everything, because it's about holding it responsibly, wisely. And often that's learned through negating that power in some way, not really understanding the value of that and how that can have such an impactful effect, not just on our lives through our own free will, but how it can also affect the lives of many others. There's something here where you're starting to understand that you have the ability to birth something of great potential here, I'm hearing. And in order for you to really be able to activate this, there's something about going through this fire of recognizing ways that you didn't wield your power wisely in the past, or ways that you gave it away. And I do feel like you've finally gotten your power back, and it's so important that you remember this so it doesn't go to waste. And look at this like crescent moon cradling the sun here, but this is coming in almost like the crown of the high priestess here, you know? It's like the blending of the solar and the lunar energies. It's really beautiful. But the active masculine force is really coming forward at this time in fire for transformation. Something that's been gestating is meant to come through at this time. It can't be held in or contained. So what's this crossing energy coming in here? Seven of Sky, you see sharing. It's meant to be shared. This is what's been held back. It's been held within. But once that lotus comes to bloom, I'm almost seeing those hands like that mudra of the lotus coming to bloom. It can also be that butterfly. We brought that in before. There's stages of development here and transformation underway, especially for the butterfly to come through. Butterfly does speak through colors. So there's something here about really tuning into what colors you're drawn to in your environment. They may tell you something about what's going on with your own energy body, what chakra center needs your focus, needs your attention. But there's also about this alignment that's coming in and what it reveals to you, also bringing forward some kind of gift that you're not meant to hold in, you're meant to share it with others. It hasn't been shared yet though, because currently you're crowning, you know. We're all going through this process of coming back into a direct alignment, direct connection with source. So we're kind of forced to, because there's so much that's being taken out of our hands. And I think more and more people are going to start to get plugged in, because there's a recognition that power structures are failing as they've been erected in society. And so when we do have this kind of jolt that comes through Pluto and Aquarius, we have to kind of look back at ourselves, and we have to reflect, and we learn a lot from our history. We learn a lot from the past. Collectively, we learn from our history. We think of times when we fell before. We look at the fall of civilizations. We look at the way civilizations bounce back too, you know. And there's something we learn through all of that that's also being forged here. It is like echoes of history coming back around the bend, and echoes of your personal history too. You know, all of this is a reflecting point, but it's more like the fire is dancing, and the fire is also dancing within us, and it's lapping at our throats, and it's influencing our words. Like, there's so much that is coming through our words, and there's like a real responsibility too with that, the way we use our words at this time as well. It's all interconnected. I like this energy though, because it is showing a balance here. It is showing a balance, and it is showing a way to hold this wisely. High Ace of Fire. This is that sphere of Lu energy coming on through. Let's see. I mean, look, this is coming in. There's support for this too. But there is birth here. So, beginning point. And then we have the water family coming through, but there's so much Aquarian signature here, you see. There's change coming in here. There's change coming in the waterway. Those rivers of iridinous that flow from Aquarius's vessels. There's protection for the road ahead as we go through these changes. So we're all in this process here of preparing to birth a new beginning in our life. But we're going through the fire to make us fit to step into the new beginning. We're going through a pretty radical transformation here, I feel, that has us showing up in life in a brand new way. Some of you may be giving actual birth, okay? Some of you may be preparing to enter that delivery room in real time, you know? You have been experiencing all of the changes, not just in your body, but also in your mind, your vision of your life moving forward, everything, because you know that now, you know, you have a new life that's coming in here, and that's really causing everything to shift for you. I am picking this up for somebody that your whole life is changing because you're having a child, you're having a baby, and it's a very deeply spiritual experience for you, certainly here. I love this. We have the High Ace of Sky coming up next. So we've already had this High Ace of Fire come through, and it's merging with the sky, and it's coming in with Savior. So see, there's some kind of action you're going to take here. This is about you. You're not praying for a rescue. You're not asking for anything to be your savior here. This is you really recognizing that you have that connection to source, and that as long as you stay connected to what you know is true within you, and you don't allow yourself to be swayed by outside opinions. And as long as you keep that intimacy in your soul that's very special to you, and however you relate to the great mystery, there's going to be so many signs that come through, so many messages that come in that give you confirmation. And the thing is synchronicity is one thing, but synchronicity always comes in to highlight to us some way that we need to take an action, or there's something that we need to do. It's like the message can come, but then there needs to be follow through with the message. And that's what I believe this is. It's the birth of a message coming through that might be coming through in more of what some people would call a metaphorical way. And yet it's not metaphorical. It's actual. It's actualized. But it is something that comes through source, and it does require that you tune in with that different sense of hearing, different sense of sight, different sense of feeling, and really trusting that. So a lot of this is also about you really being in that place of alignment where you don't doubt the guidance that comes in, and you back it up with the fire by taking action on it. And if you don't understand what kind of action it's asking of you when you do receive these synchronicities and signs, ask for clarity. And then the synchronicities will show up to point you in that direction. Because the thing is the more that you notice synchronicities, do you ever see how more come? It's like a multiplying effect. The more aware of it you become, the more signs and synchronicities and guidance you see showing up on your path. And all of this is going to start to really multiply, and you're going to be able to really cut through any kind of confusion, any kind of fogginess, any kind of haze, and you're going to start to see source coming through, breaking through your reality where once there was confusion, and you're going to feel very connected to that. It's going to amplify the source within you. So I do feel like there's something here too about Manipura. You're starting to clear a lot of energy from Manipura chakra, the solar plexus chakra, and that's going to give you a lot more confidence. It's going to let you feel like you're really rooted back in yourself again. Your sense of vitality is coming through. You have more energy for the road ahead as well. It has everything to do with you really have been taking responsibility to deal with yourself, to do the healing work you need to do, to make sure that you're focused on your own path work. You haven't been distracted on micromanaging anybody else here, and that's very healthy. I love to see it. So there's signs of optimism coming through here. And the more you invest in those signs and you really take it in, that's when you move into that state of really being in partnership with Source. You become a co-creator. It's a really beautiful thing when you realize you've entered in that like synergistic flow, because then so many more things are possible for you than there were before. And when you allow yourself to act on it, to take it in blind faith and act on the guidance, it's always amazing the way it plays out. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, the more empowered you feel, and you don't feel lost anymore because you really get anchored in the moment. And that's another thing about synchronicity. If you're constantly worrying about the future or focused on the path that you already walked in the past, that can really kind of have you in that ambiguous space where it's hard to find a sense of direction because you never get rooted where you are right now. And I get it, you know, you go through stuff in life and it can be very difficult. It can divide your attention, your focus, but as long as you remain divided, you never get to the place where you're united, which is where are you right now? You know, and there's something about just allowing that little bit of light to peek through, because the light is to be found in the moment. That's where you actually do have the power to take an action. That's where you do find your fire. That's where you do find the ability to transform. It's not in the past. The moment's already happened. It's not in the future. It's not here yet. You find that ability to transform the more you come right here, right now. So it starts in a very rudimentary way that a lot of people just feel silly, but mostly they feel silly when they start to engage in it because they realize, holy fuck, I can't believe how many times I like look back at the past, or I can't believe how many times I find myself worrying about something that's not even here anymore. It's like when you start to really call yourself out like that, it's like, ooh, it's a little exposing, okay? But that's when you receive the gift of fire. That's when the door of opportunity opens up to you, because you realize, oh, I have the ability to change this. All I have to do is just keep calling myself right back here. So when I find myself drifting off to the past, I go, hey, you know, where are you at? I use that for myself when I've been in spaces like that. I'm like, hey, where are you at? You're not there anymore. What's going down right now? Oh, right now is rather lovely, actually. Right now is rather lovely. Maybe I want to go outside and go for a walk. Maybe I want to go and sit with my old friend the oak and just have a little talk. You know, there's something about getting really anchored in the moment is important right now. Do continue to anticipate that the sylphs will be a source of communication that are there to bring you inspiration. So yeah, just get lost in the clouds for a little bit by earthing, you know. Find a nice spot to spread yourself out and stare up into that sky and watch the sylphs pass by and see what messages they reveal to you, as well as the winged creatures that come on through to also speak to you, right? See, this is when you tap into the Orin more and you activate the singers of creation. This is when you do tap into that one note of ecstasis that does bring the unifying force between heaven, man, earth, or what can be seen as other world, channeling through you, funneling through you to become this world, this reality. There's a real beautiful unification point happening here. 3 of water, there's healing coming in. There's really this need at this time too to harmonize our waters. So what does that mean? How do I harmonize my water? Well, if you are a creative person but you haven't been feeling inspired, then there's something there that does need to be brought into a place of focus, even if it's the necessity to just have blank space. You know, we so often need to account for every single moment in our day, and sometimes the power is in blank space where you just kind of show up. Nothing really necessarily needs to be achieved. It's just showing up in a space of curiosity, and maybe even just beginning with acknowledging, man, I feel frustrated. I have writer's block, or I haven't wanted to pick up my guitar in a while, or I just don't feel like I'm in my creative flow, or it's been forever since I danced, you know, whatever it may be. And then maybe go beyond that a little bit. Use the time to just explore that a little bit, lean into it a little bit. Why? What's been distracting me from that? What's kind of coloring my focus so much that all I see is lack of inspiration? Maybe I need to take my focus away from that, because it's feeding off my inspiration. You know, sometimes it's not even a person that's doing anything to you. It's just some situation you're embroiled in, and your focus itself, the focus becomes a form of energy harvesting, you know. We do it to ourselves. But regardless, you know, this is really about harmonizing the waters. So we do that by getting in touch with what we're feeling. We do that by trusting what we feel, respecting what we feel, and not letting that override our common sense either. You know, it really is about bridging the gap between the brain, but we also look at our ability to flow, you know. Are there places where we're having a hard time just flowing, where we do feel like we have to control, or we become too rigid? You know, water teaches us to take on any form. Water teaches us to move around obstacles, obstructions. Sometimes it does get dammed up when there's too much earth, when there is too much that is trying to be rigidly, you know, sort of set in place before it's time. So that's why it's helpful to kind of like drop in and feel that out. Where am I at with that, you know? Where are these blocks coming from? Is there a way I'm trying to kind of control what wants to come through me? Maybe I just need to let go of control, you know? Maybe I need to just dance, you know, uninhibitedly. Maybe it doesn't need to look any sort of way. Maybe I need to break the old form, okay? Something about breaking the old form, or there's something that's about to come through for you, for those of you who are artists, artistic types, those of you who are musicians. I'm also hearing innovators, inventors. Okay, that's another, you know, it's an art form too. It's a real acceleration of your craft. Whatever your craft is, there's something here about it's taking on a new form. The former vessel can't contain it anymore, and the block may seem frustrating, but once the block is broken down, it may be that, you know, the vessel that held it once before has grown not sufficient enough to hold all these waters that are teeming in you. But you can use that old vessel and maybe some new pieces you bring in to fuse them together. A little kintsugi, you know, you can bring in some gold to mend what was broken because it couldn't contain it, and it becomes a thing of beauty. Like there's something about the old form that's breaking now becomes a thing of beauty, and yet it's also foundational for what comes in with this gift of fire. That I do feel leads to, I'm hearing, a new way of life. It's really a new you too. There's something really changing about you here. Let me do one more round, cap this off. This feels complete, but I did want to drop into this energy. Those of you who are singers, use your voice more. Maybe you may have been dealing with some kind of blockage in Vajra, in your throat chakra, and it's because specifically you haven't been using your voice. Using your voice is what will open up your chakra again. So if you've been struggling in communications, or if you've really been feeling like you're not in alignment with your purpose, it could be that you haven't been using your voice, and your voice is a big part of your purpose. Once you shine light on this, you will really discover that all of a sudden opportunities for you to use your voice start to come in, and the creativity starts to come through very solid. Some of you, this is devotionally, okay? I have, you know, being in the choir, you know, in church. For some of you, you haven't done that for a while. You need to get back to doing that. Others of you, I have like kirtan, you know, singing the mantras in a very devotional kind of way. Others of you, you're songwriters, and you're writing some pretty deep music, or maybe you haven't yet, but you're being called to let that light come through in that way. Write some real deep material about what you've been going through here, how you've been changing. You might be surprised what opportunities it opens up for you. Yeah, King of Sky, you're being challenged by spirit. It's time to open up to a new expression of your creativity. There's something really beautiful coming through here. It's a thing of power. It's a thing of power. And there's many different ways to be creative. You can be creative in the kitchen, okay? Or you may be part of facilitating the birth, you know, of the creative through doing doula work, you know. And I'm hearing, you know, at either of the transitions, whether that's through birth or through death story, you know, it's powerful medicine. But it is working with those cycles of creation. Birth, life, death, rebirth. It's all this continual flow of energy. We see it in nature all around us. So there's something beautiful coming in here. And it does bring light into your world. I said I was only going to do one more, but I want to see what is this coming in here, what's building. That seed you planted, it's about to sprout and break ground. And with the Ace of Water energy here, you're going to have exactly what you need to nurture it. It's beautiful. Yeah. Queen of Sky. Unity. Love it. Beautiful. So you're going to get to that unifying point. We have Father Sky right behind the Queen of Sky. Interesting. Look at that. New moon energy coming in after that eclipse. There's like this seed that you set sail on the wind that's about to get rooted here, and something new is going to sprout from it. And you're going to have to water it. You're going to have to nurture it. You're going to have to be devoted to it. But it leads you to a wild, open road. And yeah, this road will train you. This road will train you. I feel that. You know, this road is something that tempers you. There's ways that you will be challenged or asked to rise to a challenge or step into more of your potential than you think is possible right now with this road that's opening up. But I mean, I see you got the medicine you need. You're just getting really oriented with this road. And I feel like that alignment comes in with that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Yeah, that's when the sprout turns into the bloom. Isn't that beautiful? Something really flowers there, okay? So really cool energy coming on through. So yeah, if you're having trouble accessing your fire with that athlete coming in with the 6 of fire, you may want to do some kind of training, you know? And training doesn't have to look like being in a gym. It can just be going out for a nice brisk walk, or you may build your fire in a more subtle way. Maybe you want to do yoga, or maybe you want to do Tai Chi, really build it energetically. Maybe you want to build your fire through going on a hike or dancing. I mean, there's many different ways of moving, but I think what's really important here, because the waters are coming through very strongly, is what's needed to nurture, okay? What's needed to nurture what's sprouting here. This is really about trusting your own flow. Don't get into too rigid patterns, okay? Allow yourself to just really respond spontaneously to what you're feeling, as far as how you're nourishing your body and how you're exercising your body. There's something here about really getting it rooted in an embodied way and trusting how you're guided to show up, and really listening to how your body is responding to how you have been showing up. That allows you to get more harmonized with it. To me, it feels like it's an amplitude of energy, but it's also an elevation of what you're currently kind of running here that transforms your reality and opens up some very interesting new experiences for you. Oh, I didn't even see this. I've never seen this before. There's absolutely some blessing that comes through there, some gift. Yeah, got like white buffalo coming through here. So yeah, gratitude, okay? Gratitude. Let gratitude be your meditation as we head up to this Leo new moon, and even follow it through all the way up to the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, okay? There's something about that gratitude and just being very aware of what you should really be opening up your arms to, that allows a new energy to break through the ground of your being and starts really shifting your reality here, okay? That's what I got. All right. I'm in this right there with you. All right, really beautiful energy. We're going through some pretty dynamic times here collectively. We are initiating through some very touchy territory at some points, but it looks like we're doing quite well with it. And we're going to reach a unifying point here where that dream world that we talked about really begins to merge with reality, and we awaken the dreamer within. So there's quite a few downloads that are sort of linking back to here, so I'll decide which ones I want to put on the tail end here for you to tune into. But I do have some old messages that really sync up with this that I think could be beneficial. So if you look at what I got up on the screen there, go ahead and allow yourself to explore that. If you feel called to tap into this frequency a little bit deeper and work with this elementally on a really embodied level, I think you'll get some signposts and synchronicities there. Okay, Godspeed.